All right, I'm gonna go here, channel, see if I this window, and then I could go to my channel this way. All right, yo, mic check 1 2, mic check. I'm gonna go here. All right, so I want to get right into this situation with this guy here, Texas Paul Schroeder, who apparently has a lot to say about Toledo and Ohio in general. Dayton did not swing 10 points to Republicans. Cleveland did not swing 10 points to Republicans. Toledo did not swing 15 points to Republicans. You know what he said from further on down. Then he's trying to say, investigate. That's actually my sentiments in regarding this midterm. This must be investigated at a wide margin. I'm not talking about Ohio, because Ohio is so red it's crimson. Ohio is deep, deep, deep red. Nothing needs to be investigated here. Well, to some degree, I will say this. Whenever I went to the polls yesterday, I noticed that some names are not listed as Democrat or Republican. That, other than that, nothing else needs to be investigated. Thing is dead on, straight on. Other than we need to go back to paper ballots. But let me go ahead and start my intro. The intro is not going to have a theme because of copyright. In fact, let me see if there is a theme. Let me check. Oh, there isn't. Okay. Well, I'll be back. So give me a while. All right, I'm back in this piece. Let's go ahead and flip this right back to this. So, I'm going to start off from the very beginning. Don't really like to repeat myself, but I have to because, well, I'm here. Dayton did not swing 10 points to Republicans. Cleveland did not swing to Republicans. Toledo did not swing 15 points to Republicans. Cincinnati did not swing 7 points to Republicans. I'm sorry, I know it is uncomfortable, but states do not live in vacuums. Investigate. I have a strong notion that every state needs to be investigated for voter fraud. Every state needs to be investigated. Now, I did say earlier that this is a deep red state. I believe it. Don't get me wrong, I believe it. But these voting machines need to stop. It is very important to take the freaking machines and take them out. There's no reason for why we are even doing them if they are easily infiltrated, if they can be easily tampered with. If someone who doesn't know much about hacking, like myself, can easily get into one of these machines and change the results and alter said results to support whoever the hell I want to support, I can do that. But you mean to tell me that we're going to trust a machine and multiple versions of said machine with our ballots? You got me twisted, and it's not going to happen. And after 2020, people still trust votes? Actually, I can predate before that. After George H.W. Bush was elected in office, people still trust votes? The United States of America stopped existing as a country a long time ago. This is a corporation. Private bankers bought this country out. Country, quote unquote. Bought this place out. This place does not belong to you, the people. So whenever I hear people say, well, we the people have our Constitution and our Constitution protects us. Your Constitution was given to you, sir, madam. The same people who established this document for you are the same people who can take it away from you. That's why they're altering it. It takes nothing to get rid of this document. They don't care about you, and they never did. It's about who has the most money. Because if you look at it, they have altered the First Amendment. Money is free speech. And if you think I'm making shit up, you can easily look this up right now. Whoever has the most money has the most free speech. Therefore, they have more voice than you do. Don't believe me? Look at all these big shot entertainers, celebrities, these industries, all of which, no, don't get me wrong, they exist for their very own, I suppose, specific notion. But are they truly that more important than you? Especially if if you're living in an area or a country called the United States of America. United States. United. Nobody should be more special than another individual. Sure, we may have acknowledged that there are certain things that you can do that's better than someone else. And sometimes it be like that, you know? It is what it is. Sometimes you got somebody that's better than me doing certain things, like, you know, football players or anybody that does sports. I'm not athletic, but I just have an athletic build. I'm just saying. You might can talk to someone and they can give you better pointers on how to work out and do fitness than I do. Because they've been there, done that. And in case you want to learn how to swim, you might want to talk to Michael Phelps, not me. Best way, you talk to him, not me. But back to the topic. This here is an issue that has been happening for a very long time, and I'm saddened to see that people are still having faith in a voting system that they should already understand does not support them. It never supported you. The system does not care about you. Okay? I hope this is understood. Hopefully, no, maybe that's not. Because remember, I am talking to a bunch of NPCs here and trying to convince them that everything is not as it seems. But how many people like myself have been down this road trying to convince people stop supporting something that isn't supporting you? Kind of similar to whenever you're trying to get someone off of a drug, kind of like crack cocaine or whatever the case. They go right back to it. And you know the shit is bad for you, but you gotta go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, all right, whatever. Do you, boo boo? Like, what more could I tell you? I'm not gonna hold your hand. I'm not your parent. Just suffer the consequences of everything that you do. Maybe then you will learn your best lesson, which is a mistake, to never do it again. But people are still voting in this rigged system. It's rigged against you, whether you're Democratic or Republican. It's rigged. Your government has stopped listening to you a long time ago. Your votes never counted, never mattered, despite me voting. I don't expect anything good to come out of a system that is already preordained to select an individual who I did not select. Now, maybe it may have worked in this instance because, well, there seems to be a new wind arising in politics. But even more so, these results are still sketchy because it should have never been close. I don't think it was close. I don't think it was close at all. This guy then says, look at Arizona. Look at how small the shifts were. How much work went in to earning votes and changing minds? Then look at me in the eye and tell me you believe Toledo, fucking Ohio, turned from a Democratic stronghold to a Republican stronghold overnight. I don't know where this man was these last, recent years, but Ohio is crimson red, man. Ohio is scarlet, sir. I don't know where you've been, but Ohio has always been red. It's been a swing state, but let's be real. A lot of places don't want to admit it, but they are pretty damn red. Even Illinois. These guys live conservatively. They don't live that liberal, let these people be abominable as they are trying to pervert our way of life type mindset. Like, let me go ahead and teach my kids about sexualities and sex positions and multiple genders and woke ideologies. It's not them. No, they don't care about that. However, I'm going to say this. They do love guns. You can't tell these people otherwise. They love guns. Look at what they're doing to each other. They love guns. You can't try to convince them that these people are democratic. Hey, guess what? I'm going to say this too. These people love freedom of speech. Let you support something that they don't like. They'll use that freedom of speech against you in a quick second, within a snap of a finger. They want their privacy too. Where am I going with this? Am I saying that Democrats are anti-constitutional? Yeah, I am. I very much am. Their policies are even anti-constitutional. And even the president that they have currently in office is anti-constitutional. He said no modern man should support or back the United States Constitution. He said it in his own words. Think I'm lying? Look it up. Doesn't take rocket scientists. Doesn't take rocket science, rather. I said that wrong. But it doesn't take rocket science. He said it out of his own mouth. And then they made sure to put the quote down to the point where I can look it up. Pull it up on screen. No ordinary American cares about his constitutional rights. That's what he said. A guy named Mike just dropped by. I didn't realize that somebody said anything to my comments. That, hey, right wingers, about that red wave, whoops, lol. You see, these people are pretty triggered, assuming that these are people at all. Let me explain. You know those bots that existed on Twitter? Whenever Elon bought the platform, those bots are still there. But if you notice, they're getting their accounts knocked down. They're not able to post as much as they wanted to. They've been getting eradicated off the platform, and they haven't really been, saying as much as they used to be. They've been a little bit quiet over there on the Republican political side, now have they? Because I remember back whenever what's his face? Almost said his name. Not Vagina, Vagina, whatever her damn name. I can never remember that girl's name. She has been unimportant, and nobody even knows nor cares about her. Serious business. That's why no one remembers her. If you say her name amongst people on Twitter, you think people are going to remember her? Hell no. Unless you're working alongside her, and even if you did, no one's going to remember her. But it's the other dude with the real funny sounding name. As he was the CEO, he's no longer CEO. This dude, whenever he was running the platform, had a bunch of bots on his app. So many bots and had so much political control on that app. If you said something against said bot, you can get your account shut down within minutes. Your account will no longer get shut down within minutes. That's over with. Nothing they can do to stop you. They cannot swing the political pendulum to the left anymore. In fact, they couldn't do that in the first place. Not by using social media, of course, because look at what happened. When they thought social media could stop Trump from getting votes, guess what happened around the time of 2020? This man had 71 million plus votes. What you think you were stopping? Because I didn't see it. Did you think you would be passing the brakes on this man's, or pumping the brakes on this man's presidency? They had to lie. They had to frame at a large margin. And I say frame with emphasis because remember those impeachment hoaxes? Oh, yes, that's a lot of framing right there, my guy. And the people dressed up as supporters of MAGA, being already in the Capitol as they are tearing the building apart. Now, they wasn't really tearing the building apart, a lot. They just kind of broke a couple windows, knocked over a few chairs, hired a few actors to pretend like they were shot and no one walked in there with a damn firearm except the Capitol Police, as they were just talking to each other and probably chewing on gum as they were watching everything unfold. And there were a guy that was pro-peace and supporter of MAGA that was there. It was like, yo, what are you guys doing? You're supposed to be protecting us. Why are you doing? Like, dude. If you're convinced that any of these Democratic electors run and that they are winning any of these races in any of these states, I got a bridge to sell you for $19.99. I don't know who they're kidding, but they're not kidding me. I'll also let you know this. There needs to be a mass countrywide recount and paper ballots only. That's what I think. Undo this midterm and redo it. Delete all that shit, is what I'm saying. Red and blue. Since you want to go there and say, and then I quote, look at Arizona. Look at how small the shifts were. How much work went into earning votes and changing minds. You want to know what changed minds? We'll show you the hard way. Get rid of all electronic ballots. Do it by paper. And then whenever these paper ballots end up missing, we know exactly who to go to and how to track them. We also know where they were mailed, and we also know who to stop whenever we need questions to be answered. There's nothing you can do to get out of this persecution, my guy. I strongly believe that voter fraud happened countrywide for these midterms. I don't even give a fuck about the toss up decisions of Arizona, of Georgia, and Nevada. I don't even care to finish those. No, we should go and do things by tradition. Do it by the books. How ballots are supposed to originally be done. Get rid of these electronic ballots. Do it by paper. I don't care how much paper we were wasting. Are we going to waste paper today? Get rid of them. Get rid of all of the electronic ballots. Do it all over. So now when we do it by paper, there ain't no claiming of who's cheated. There's no claiming of who has put things in and put things out. And also make sure that the ballots are heavily guarded. Yes, sir. If there's anyone purchasing services from any guard of said ballots, 30 years time. And if they snitch, shorten that sentence to 10 years. I mean that shit. If they are found or caught red-headed in the act, 30 years. And until they snitch and give us more information that we need to know in regarding to who they were aligned with, who they were in ties with, who they were working with. And when they do, shorten it to 10 years. Very simple. You got to punish these folks harshly in order for them to learn to not do it again. It is what it is. You do the crime, you pay the time. All this talk about Maricopa County having ballot issues and the machines are breaking down and the electricity is off and whatnot. Hey, yo, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Because I know that's full of shit. This election is about to be a lie in Arizona, and we already expect it. We're just waiting for the lie to happen and how they're going to tell it, and if it's going to be the same as 2020. They got to be creative, because if they're not creative, oh, you know they're... it's like entertainment. Rather, wrestling. You know who's going to win in wrestling based off of who is, scripted and how things are going in the play. At times where you watch WWE, two wrestlers that you may like, may not like, may not care for either one of them. You're just enjoying the show. You're looking at two men talk mass trash on the mic before they eventually get in the ring and start fighting. Because the moment they start fighting, you know exactly who's going to win based off of your analysis of what's going to happen later on down the line. That's exactly what this is. But how many times are we going to do this song and dance, man? When are people going to be like, yo, I'm tired of watching this? Maybe we should do something about this. Maybe I'm tired of being tricked into voting for and supporting a party that is against my best interest at heart. Want to know what I should do? Should probably make a video about that, submit it to Twitter, and see how far it goes. Maybe, just maybe, I could get a bunch of views doing that. Maybe. But hey, at least it's said here in case nobody else is talking about it. But if you had any faith in voting, despite how many times that these voter turnouts had been, you make a decision and you find out that your decision that you've made toward a select candidate didn't go out planned, and you know a various large amount of people who supported said candidate, but the other guy won from some mysteriously large group of people you've never heard of. Despite how long you've lived in your state, they seem to be hella convinced that there is a lot of someones in opposition that support the opposite and that they found them, but you couldn't. Yeah. If you're not challenging these votes, you're not challenging your government. You're not telling your government, no, screw you. Tired of your bullshit, and I refuse to let you get away with this. That's your bad. You deserve exactly what you get. You're the ones that stopped asking the questions. I'm still asking, what happened with you? All I can do is shrug. I'm doing my part. My part is whenever I was growing up, I was told to question everyone and everything. Then I grow up to realize that questioning things gets you in trouble. How did it go from me being raised to question everything to now if I question it, I'm the bad guy? Then I get my social medias canceled, I get blocked and banned, I get insulted, I get called a Nazi or a fascist or whatever the hell these things are. I don't know what these things are, to be honest. I'm going to let you know, man. I don't experience none of that shit. Maybe you guys know something I know, but I don't know it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what Nazism is. I don't know what fascism even is. No one stopped me from speaking. And pray tell, maybe that'll never happen in the future either. And I won't knock on wood. Because I actually hope for something like that ever to occur. I wish someone would try to tell me, hey, you shouldn't have the right to say this. The fuck you gonna do about it? Like, I'd be standing at the ready, like, I'm right here. So, you said you want me to stop doing what now? Come on, do something. You want me to stop doing something that you didn't like me doing, but you have the right to do it, and I don't. Really now. Let's see how long this is gonna last. I don't play that. It's easy for you suburban folks to speak like that, saying that people are attacking your democracy and your way of life because you guys are living in posh lives. You know, you're living good. I'm not, I'm also living good myself. I'm in a pretty secluded area, gated community. I guess you could call this somewhat suburban living, but it's actually better. Kind of like a village, if you ask me. I like it. I like it a lot. Very different way of life versus how I was raised. You know, from a democratic household where it consisted of a bunch of closed-minded thinking people, even though they weren't democratic at all, they were always conservative. I don't know why the hell they kept calling themselves democratic. It didn't make sense to me. But that's what the label was of what they supported. Voted for Bill Clinton, voted for Obama. I didn't vote for Obama first or second term. Like, I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to see what you could do. He didn't do anything. He made matters worse. I didn't care about your skin because I've lived around black folks long enough to understand that too many black folks generated in one area will spell trouble. Think it's time for you white folks to listen to that and adhere to that notion. Also, based off of my experiences of dealing with black folks, is that when they are appointed into a position of power, they turn into a damn tyrant. They had never had it before, and when they get it, they turn into a tyrant. They'll say that they are not that way, but then we remember a time, once upon a time, back in Egypt, the land of Mizraim before it was named Egypt. Let's be real. Where blacks was in power at the time. But they were so wicked that the Heavenly Father himself told another group of blacks to leave the land. Had Moses to deliver his people out of Israel. Because these guys was wicked. Like, they were disgusting folks. And of course, I'm wandering off and talking about different other topics. The bottom line is stop trusting in this system. In fact, you're supposed to give your trust in God. What happened to that? Why isn't that, well, why is that not a thing anymore? In God we trust is on the dollar, was on the dollar. I don't even know if it's up there anymore. I haven't looked, I haven't cared. Because I know it's full of shit. In God we trust, but whenever it's time to trust God with his plan to make things good for America, everyone wants to change said plan. Ain't that some shit? Oh, funny as hell. You got a funny way of telling me how much you love God and his so-called plan that you claim that you don't want to question. Funny folks. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go ahead and start off another video and change topics. Maybe I'll make a few shorts because I do have some other things to cover. I'm going to say this though. We need a nationwide ballot, not recount. We actually need a nationwide redo. A ballot redo. Now, essentially, that is a recount, but no, we're not taking the same numbers and counting that over. And I know people are going to say, man, I already voted. I don't want to vote again. Get over it. Get over it. If you want to prove how much you love your country, get to work. Get your lazy ass up and let's see you get up and go to work like you need to. You said you love your country, right? I want to see you prove it. Get up, vote again, and let's see if your vote truly counts. And this time you're going to go through a paper ballot. I don't have no problem doing it. You don't have to tell me. Actually, you essentially are telling me twice because I did it the first time, but I don't have no problem doing it twice. I'll do it again. I'll go up there, give them my paper ballot, and be like, yep, that's me, my ID, scan a check on that, and that. Give me my ID back, take my ballot. I did my vote, and I'm out this piece. That's it. But there is no excuse for why you guys having so much complications with machines that you claim are so trustworthy. Because if they're so trustworthy, why is there so many shutdowns and threats of folks easily hacking and they don't even know how to hack? I'm tired of this. It happened one too many times. It happened with the 2020 election. It actually, if you ask me, it happened when people were talking about the 2016 election. Russia hacked our servers and prove it. Prove it. Let's do a whole nother election and let's see your theory proved. And if you are proven overwhelmingly false, you go to jail for bearing false witness. Yes, sir. Because you got us believing that this man has actually committed a crime when it was you in your bitterness. You defamed this man's name, Donald Trump. You defamed this man's name for so long. And you mean to tell me that we're just going to let you roam scotch-free with no punishment? You got me twisted. Hillary, you got me twisted. It's not happening. You got to suffer the consequences. You said he stole an election. If we run that election over and you lose grossly, you serve jail time for lying. It is what it is. Now, a lot of folks might fear you because of the body counts you guys are responsible for. You know, folks that mention your name and talk trash about you, they end up missing somehow. I say bring it, bitch. I say bring it. See, with those other folks, that's a war that you already know you will win because these people are scared of their lives being taken away. Me? Nah. I am not afraid of chaos. Absolutely not afraid. You want a war? I say bring it. I stand right by my beliefs. As I had to say about you, who want to make sure that the political opposition disappear because you are so pissed that you didn't get your way at the time. Oops. And with that, I shall end the video. But stay tuned. There's no telling what the hell I'm come back on stream.